Welcome, everybody, Yankee Chronicles podcast. I'm Bobby. I am here with Chris, Sarah, and Mother Superior. And, and before we get started, I just want to ask you to check out statementgames.com. You can find unique experience in fantasy sports. Check out docadamsbaseball.org, where you can learn about the father of baseball and listen to us daily, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. on radioplaylive.com. So, Chris, take it away.
All right. Welcome, everybody. How are we doing today?
Good.
Great. Doing
Excellent.
great. Good
Excellent.
weather to watch a game on the radio.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Watch the game on the radio.
Fortunately, I saw where it's going to be on what, WFAN?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
this
yeah, I'll be
afternoon.
definitely tuning that in at 105. That sucks though.
Yeah, it does.
We've got Garcia on the mound today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How you feeling about that, guys?
Honestly,
My
I think
computer
he'll
locked
do.
up.
I think he'll do well. I'm not too worried about him. I've seen his last outings, and he's been pretty consistent. I think he only buckles when you have bases loaded, obviously. But other than that, I think he's okay.
Yeah, I have to agree 100%. Garcia, his numbers so far in the season are all, they're all respectable. He got, tagged by the home run, by the long ball. So he just stay away from that and he'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the lineup, what's your opinion on the lineup?
Yeah, it's an interesting lineup today.
Yes,
Anyone
it
want
is.
to take the reins?
Sarah and I already got into it a little bit this morning.
We did with the lineup because she's a Mike Talkman defender, and I don't mind that. That's fine because I do the same thing with Judge. But the lineup it's interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Let's play safe and say it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, Chris. I think it depends on how we look at the lineup during spring training versus in season.
Yes.
And Sarah and I were talking about that a little bit too. To me, this is audition time. And, I don't know what was in Booney's head, but, if he's doubtful about talking to him, maybe he wants to put a little pressure on him, because he's always been our 5th, 6th, 7th, batter for the most part, right? So, if he's in a quandary, with his 40 man, let's put some screws to him and see what he does.
Yeah.
So, I think in the in season, I would have been right there with you, Tara, with the, WTF on that.
Yes, definitely. I can understand like with the roster switches. Booney's always going to do a roster switch no matter what. I've seen him do it. And I was watching the game yesterday and I'm like, wait a minute. They don't tell you in mid-inning that they're going to change this person at second and put this person in. So He could do whatever he wants with the roster. But when these minor league guys are being put in the 5th or 6th inning, they're impressing me more than the rest of the lineup. They're unbelievable.
They are hungry.
They are. And I'm like, it's crazy because they battle these at-bats like it's their last at-bat. And they don't know when they're going to play again.
It might be in that uniform.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I'm like, I would do the same thing too. And I would try and, switch everybody around. But I think, honestly, at the end of the day, Kluber did really well yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of the other pitchers did too. Chad Green, other than him bombing twice or a couple times. But that's usually him. When I feel like when he has runners in scoring position, he has this look on his face like he wants to cry. I've noticed that. And I'm like, okay, Chad, you need to get yourself together. We cannot be crying on the mound right now.
There's no crying in baseball.
I really don't want to be biting my nails at the bottom of the ninth,
Yes. That's that's what Chapman does to me. There that one game, and you know what it is? The 2019 ALCS. I was blessing to the mercy of Jesus over Chapman because I was like, oh God, he's going to screw this up. He's going to ruin this. because I could see the look on everybody's face, and those Astros fans were really killing it for me. I was like, I can't, because I mean, what is everybody else's opinion? I'm sure it was the same thing.
Yeah, well, I was noticing, and I heard David Cohn talking yesterday that Chapman's featuring a new pitch. Apparently, he's got
using a splitter.
this kick-ass splitter going that Coney was remarking on. What did you think of that, you guys?
I think he and Herman both threw some pretty nasty pitches, and I think I think the splitter in particular, I mean, the velocity he got off of that, I think really stood out.
Yes.
But can he do it consistently? You know, and in pressure situations.
Yes. Because we don't want to.
That's almost like with Tanaka. He had a very good splitter. And, you know, he also had the sinker. And I think that they saw how effective it was, you know, as you're going deeper into an at bat as a good strikeout pitch, because the movement's very deceptive.
Yes.
And I think Chapman saw that. And as his arm is getting older, this is something that, you know, in case he doesn't want to just be a 2-pitch pitcher. So now he'll have his fastball, the slider, and now he added the splitter.
Right.
My concern there, Bobby, is that because his arm is getting older, you know, he's got to be careful too, you know. So adding so much on, I mean, let's stop at the splitter. Let me just say it that way.
Yeah.
You know, and he seems to really be, you know, throwing harder, and that, you know, maybe game came easier to him before. So I just worry a little bit because we want him to stick around this time.
Yeah, I agree with Lynn. Honestly, with Chapman on the mound, it's the fact that he throws a couple pitches and he's fine. But when you get, like, he walks 2 batters, you get bases loaded and you have one person who you know is going to hit the ball farther than wherever. Like, say, for instance, when they do play the Astros, you have Correa at third, you have Altuve at second, and at first you had Springer. Then you have Brantley come up. You know he's going to hit.
Yeah.
And he's experimenting. This is not spring training. This is the ALCS. You need pitches that you know is going to get Brantley out in the first place.
Yeah.
What I notice is he's just throwing the ball with no control. And when Sanchez is behind the plate, Sanchez is trying to figure out what you're throwing. You need to be on the same page with your pitcher, dude. You need to know, listen, he's going to throw this. I need to be putting my glove here instead of having it here. What Sanchez needs to do is read Chapman better, because I've noticed he has been, 2019, I noticed it a lot. He'll have his glove here. Chapman's throwing here. I'm like, what is going on? There's no communication. But with Cole on the mound, let's say in an ALCS position, he'll have Gary on clock real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I've noticed that. He'll have him like, listen, I'm going to throw here, so your glove needs to be here. And I think Cole just gives off that demeanor on the mound saying, I'm going to throw this. If you're not following, we need to stop this game right now, and we need to be on the same page. I feel like every pitcher is not going to be like that, but I hope they are in the near future, because if we're up to par with every pitcher, we should be fine coming postseason.
Right. So let's talk about the Pirates for a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
That guy in that Roker, the guy in the right field, the right fielder yesterday.
Yes.
The catch on Judge.
Yes.
And today, but pretty nasty on the run too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speed, and he got a good swing. So, you know, I know we don't face them until we have to.
Yes.
In season, but I don't know.
That was an impressive play for a young player.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Very. Because Judge hits the ball ridiculously how many miles per hour. And I'm like, if I was in his position at his age, which I know I have been, because when I played baseball with the older guys, it was like, it blew my mind because I was nervous, and right field is usually my position. So I don't get as nervous as much in right field as you would do in the infield. But can you imagine if he was at shortstop or second, where you have a lot of ground to cover and you have that ball coming right at you? I would have cried.
I would have fallen to the dirt, frankly.
Yes.
And you know, he recovered as if it was a softball, as if it was like the lightest hit ball. And that was
Yes.
impressive too, because you know he was in pain. I mean,
Yes.
he had to have been. And
Yeah.
it was a seamless recovery with the ball, seamless return. So I think he's someone to watch.
Can
Yeah.
I mention, while we're on amazing plays, the Hicks bunt yesterday?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Hicks bunting against the shift and
Yes.
getting on base. That was something else to see.
That was. And from Aaron Hicks, I
Yeah.
am impressed.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That was an excellent bunt.
It
He was
was.
2 for
And-
3 yesterday. He was
And
at
that third baseman better be on bloopers at some point, because him just standing there watching the ball roll. I don't even know what the point was.
I didn't understand that.
Well, 9.5 times out of 10, when the ball is rolling on the dirt like that, it usually will veer foul.
Yes.
So that's what they were expecting. And then when it hit the bag, you saw that they just kind of laughed at each other.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and what made it, you know, and when I'm sure on their end, what made it a little more comical that it is only spring training.
Yeah.
You know, if it was a playoff game, they wouldn't be laughing.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there'll be more eyes watching you, obviously, because I think they're starting to add more fans on as the time goes. So they're just experimenting to see how this COVID thing's going to work with the fans. But I think it's been working okay so far. We need crowd noise, because how are you going to be in a championship game series and there's audible crowd? That bothers me so much.
Yep. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
With spring training so far, what's been impressive for you girls the most? Is there a player that you had that you really didn't see
I'll go.
playing the way they are, whether it's good or bad?
Yeah, I'll speak. I've been impressed with Lucas Lutke.
Yeah,
Is that his name?
I think it's Licky is how it's. I can't
Yes.
pronounce it either.
I haven't got a clue, but I think I'll know it by the end of the season, because I think this is a kid who may make the team. Although he's not a kid, he's 33. He's been around.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's a lefty.
Yeah.
He's had a very nice spring. So he's someone to watch.
Yeah, and
I've been impressed.
no doubt we need the left arm.
Yes, we do.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
just at least to hold the spot until Britain returns.
Exactly. Yep.
But he has what, 3 years to retirement, 4 years to retirement now? But
I
let's
would,
take him
yeah.
while we can get him. Yeah, I think you know, I know that this has been over time, but I'm really proud of Frazier. Because I was the first, you know, last season before to blast him out, you know, on Twitter. But you know, he got down to business and turned it all around, and like I'm fully confident about him, both
Mhm.
on the bag and at the plate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like something
So-
clicked with him mentally, and he just grew up
Mhm.
overnight. And all
Mhm.
you know, social media antics all came to an end. He just really
Yeah.
focused on his work, and I
Yep.
think that's rubbing off on. I think that rubbed off on Sanchez, because you see he's got a very different focus this year than he has in the
Mhm.
past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Frazier, let's ask the question again, whether or not Gardy in left field is taking at bats away. Not only that, they had Gardy in right field the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to rotate Gardy around, you know, or whatever, Frazier needs to get the majority of the at bats. That's my point.
Yeah, he does. I agree. Chris, I do. Honestly, with me, I feel like we do need a third catcher because Chirinos is not in anymore unless he recovers drastically,
Right.
Which
But-
isn't gonna happen.
which is not going to happen because he's obviously a little bit older in the books, and him coming back as quick as he can is going to be a little impossible.
Yeah.
Robert Brantley, for me, he's been unbelievable because someone had sent me a video. I don't know how they got this video of him in the minors, and he's got a swing like Mattingly. He's got that Mattingly swing that you're going to want him up at bat when bases are loaded. I know that for a fact. You're going to want him up there when bases are loaded, especially in a game where you need to win. I would put him up even to pinch hit for somebody.
Yeah.
Like, say if Higashioka is on the bench and Sanchez is struggling, you're going to want to put him in there in that position, and you're going to say he's going to get me in. Going back to Talkman, he's done that in 2019, where Guardy's on the bench. Half the bench, they don't even know where they're going to hit. You have Talkman coming in. He could bring somebody home just by walking. Even a walk helps. I feel like this team is not shooting for the moon anymore. They notice we need to play small ball in order to get runners in scoring position. Quit shooting for the moon and having 3-run homers every game when it's impossible.
Right.
Like,
I think you're seeing that with Torres.
Yes.
His at bats, he's hitting more for contact and trying
Yes.
not to hit for power.
Yes.
And I think that's key for him to go back to what was working for him that got him to this point.
Right.
Yes.
You know, he had that for that 1 year. They kept, and it was mostly against the Orioles. Their pitches just kept putting it right over the plate for him. And I think it got in his head that he could do that every at bat.
Every at bat.
Right.
And that's not reality. So you're seeing
Mhm.
Torres kind of scale back and go back to what worked for him when he was first brought up.
Yes.
Sure, he has some power, no doubt about that. But you don't expect you're not expecting Torres to hit 50 home runs for the team or to carry the load, the home run load. I mean,
Yes.
Stanton and Judge and Boyd,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
Even
yeah, but
Frazier.
Yeah. But, one thing I'll say about Torres, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sarah, but before we get off him, he's another one that I think grew up a lot in the off season. I just see a different drive from him. And to me, he's improved tremendously on the field, which was, a hard adjustment for him. But I think he's looking pretty good defensively too. So
I agree.
again,
Yeah.
Did you hear that Andujar is out with a wrist injury? I didn't know if anyone else had seen that.
No.
He's going to be, he's got a sore wrist. I
Ugh.
forget who reported it, but yeah, he noticed it in the Winter League during the Dominican Winter League games he played, and it started hurting again now. So I don't know if this is a lingering injury, or something that's just popped back up for him. But I mean, what do you think about Andujar? I mean,
honestly, you
Yeah.
can't really. I wish he went back to how he used to be,
I know.
because honestly, I can't even. It stinks because he used to be so good, and then ever since that, I don't know if it was that elbow injury or that Tommy John he had,
Yeah.
or whatever injury he had, it gave him a weird mindset for some reason, where it's like he'll come up to bat, he'll hit, then the next at bat he strikes out, and then he'll just strike out for a whole week.
he
And
gets
it
in his head.
drives me nuts. And I'm like, okay, I'm not supposed to be pressuring you, but
The pressure's on.
the pressure's
Yeah.
on.
I mean, when is it not on? And
Exactly.
he's looking like DH to me.
Yes.
More than on on the field and consistently. Yeah. So
Do you think he's somebody who will retire a Yankee?
How old is he?
I don't know.
Um,
25 maybe, or
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
But he's got to be a little older than Glaber, maybe.
it's early on him for me. I see, Glaber, being a career Yankee.
Yes. Yes.
That's just in my gut.
They honestly, I do agree with you, Lynn. I do see Glaber staying a Yankee, honestly, and if he doesn't, I will kick and scream until he does, because we need him as starting shortstop, even if half the world hates when he makes a mistake.
Yes.
But honestly speaking, he needs somebody that can back him up. Let's just say he needs an off day. You cannot put in when, let's say we're out of spring training and you need a backup
Yeah.
shortstop. You need somebody that's going to at least not trump him in the shortstop position, but somebody who is just as elite as he is. I don't know anybody who can do that right now.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just like, you need to think about the situation, because what if you give
Yeah.
Torres an off day? Torres can't go at it like Didi can. He's made to be at second base. Like, you just get rid of Didi and you put Torres there, and that still drives me nuts. But personally with Didi is the fact that he has this father-son relationship with Girardi now. I don't think he's gonna leave.
Don't bring him up. I'll cry on my first podcast.
Exactly.
I miss him so much.
I miss him too.
So why isn't anyone talking about Urshela? I don't mean just us, but what's the buzz on Urshela?
We had talked on a previous episode with the guys about how Urshela is just really underrated.
Yes.
He every game he plays, he does something to be on a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he's kind of looked at outside of the Yankee fan base. He's not thought highly of as a defensive third baseman.
It stinks. I hate it.
It's a lot of the advanced metrics has him near the bottom.
Yeah. I think
he's the whole package.
He is.
Yep.
He is.
And he started with us, right?
No, he came. He was originally he came up through Cleveland.
Oh, he came up through Cleveland.
He played with Lindor in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think there was a conversation that came up about him. I forgot what it was. Because he's always up for a Gold Glove every single year, and he gets beat out by these damn White Sox all the time. It's like there's a bunch of White Sox players, and then there's Gio. And I'm like, why does Gio always last? It bothers me so much, because when I get updates of him being like a caliber third baseman, it's like we can only say so little, but you need to be as good as Chris Bryant is at third base. Mind you, Chris Bryant last year, to bring up the Cubs, he was out half the season with these injuries.
Right.
And he hates the media in Chicago. I saw an interview with him and they were talking about third basemen. And he says, I don't like the attention on me. It bothers me because that's when everyone wants to negatively feed off on you, saying, oh, Chris Bryant's been out half the season, but Gio, he has a bone spur and he's been out for 3 weeks. But it's like, who's your backup third baseman if Andujar is not there? Who's going to play third just as good as Gio? I don't know anybody who can do that.
LeMahieu.
Yeah, it's just
DJ. Yeah.
And I just don't like seeing DJ getting moved around. I mean, I never thought the idea of DJ as a utility man was a good idea anyway.
Dear, he shouldn't be at utility. Agreed. I don't like that. I mean, he doesn't get bothered by it, honestly, but you could just see on his face, like, okay, I'm made to be here. But it's like, I don't know. DJ's his own something and somebody. Like, he's just in a corner. Nobody bothers with him. And I don't know what it is. I think that's the reason why he is. he blends in so perfectly with everybody. And I said this yesterday on my Instagram. I compared him to Corey Seager because it's true. He's exactly like him, just two different divisions and two different teams. They wake up in the morning.
I think DJ's the chameleon forever.
Yes,
you heard
he is.
It
Yes, he is. He is.
Yeah. But DJ's also the kind of player that will take it for the team though in an emergency situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you're right. He's not our utility guy. No, he's too elite for that where he is.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Cheryl.
That's okay. I just wanted to mention, back to our preview of today's game, that both Dietrich and Bruce are in the lineup. And what are you thinking about them this spring?
I think Bruce is going to he's got a leg up on Dietrich for the bench role. Just because of his versatility between, being able to play first base and the outfield.
Yep.
Sarah, your thought?
Honestly, with the both of them can hit. I am not gonna lie. The both of them are gonna hit short porch, even if they try, they can hit. Honestly, I saw Dietrich's highlights with the Reds, and I was impressed. Mm-hmm. By all means, but I'm trying to think of like a word to describe him. I expected him to be very hot-headed when he first came up. Like I expect him to be like one of those, oh, I could do better than everybody else. When he had the interview with Meredith Marakovitz, I was like, that's his voice. I was so impressed. I couldn't believe it because when he was with the Marlins, I saw some highlights on him. I was like, oh, he looks like him and Christian Yelich were right in the corner. I think Stanton was pretty much getting the public eye when he was there. But when Stanton came up here, it's like Judge took his role and everyone else just follows. But I could see both of them having a really good season if Booney decides to bring whoever up. But I hope it's Dietrich, because if it is, those homers, when he gets nasty, he will get nasty. And I love it. And if those runners are always in scoring position, when he's up, I guarantee you, postseason, he knows what he needs to do.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think we got, I've been saying this, for a few weeks, regardless of what the roster is going to look like, this is a very dangerous team.
Yes.
You're starting to see the defense is starting to come together.
Mm-hmm.
The lineups have there's no weaknesses in the lineup, but it flows. The power. The power bats are blending in the lineup with the strategy bats.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're going to hit to the gap and get be able to stretch a single to a double. And
Mm-hmm.
you see in the pitching, the starting pitching is looking like they're legit.
Mm-hmm.
Tyone and Kluber
Mm-hmm.
are. It's like they haven't missed a beat with their time off for injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bullpen depth, I think, is as strong as it's ever been. So it's going to be a very fun 2021 season for the fans.
Yeah.
And the way it's looking right now, it's Dream Team 2.0. I would love for this to be another 96 through 2000 stretch.
Yes.
Let's just do it because, I think there's a lot of parallels here.
Yeah.
In terms of where the elites are on the field and at bat so far. So let's do it. Let's see who the new core four are. And, I think Dream Team 2.0 for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. Because after every single year, it's like, okay, I think it was like postseason last year. I was like, okay, we don't have elite pitching. We don't have any. We didn't have any of that. So I'm like, when we played the Rays, especially if we play the Rays, they still have Tyler Glass now when they have all these youngin pitchers coming in. They're good. I'm not gonna lie, like they know how to hit the, or they at least know how to throw, for that matter.
Right.
But when it comes up to playing like the Braves, or let's say a team with a really good lineup, you need that elite pitching.
Oh,
And
yeah.
with Tyone, I am completely impressed, because didn't he have cancer at one point?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I can't I'm like, I looked at his bio on Google and I'm like, you have 2 Tommy John surgeries, you had something else going on, and then you had cancer. Honestly, he could level up to Mancini with his path of greatness, because I mean, I honestly expect a lot out of Tyone this season, and Kluber itself. But I feel like Kluber like is your third guy. Nobody really talks about him as much as people should. But I feel like with Cole and Tyone on the mound, especially going 1-2 and having everyone else follow, if you have Tyone come off on a good start and then you have Cole come off on a better, you can't imagine the rest of the bullpen.
Right.
Because they help everybody, honestly speaking. They kind of uplift that bullpen in a sense where someone hits a home run and then the next at bat or the next, he even boosts the defense, honestly, because the Yankees defense has gotten a lot better and they have missed less balls than the past couple seasons. And I'm honestly impressed because Judge is not diving for the balls that much anymore like he used to. He's not hitting the wall as much. And I expect a lot more out of Hicks this season. He's honestly impressed me. And the fact that he knows how to bunt now is still more impressive, because I want to see what happens during the season. I'm actually impressed.
I hope a lot of other teams didn't see that, because, you know, the surprise factor is going to go away.
Yankees are underrated in many because it's like they can't really compete with anybody in the AL East right now. Honestly speaking, like who do they have in competition with besides the Rays and maybe the Braves, the White Sox? Yeah.
Right.
Well, they had a very underrated off season.
Yes.
But
the starting rotation, I just think it's going to be so hot this season.
Yes.
I mean, everyone says question mark here, question mark there. I mean, including Severino. But I think the pitching is going to be a pleasant surprise.
Yes. Yes. Because honestly, Cole always has his A game all the time. Like he's just out there, just shooting for the bullet every time. And I'm like, okay, you need somebody to back him up, because you have. And come postseason, when you start when all these teams start to get eliminated and the Yankees are still there, everyone's going to be like, the Yankees are here? They won the championship series? Well, wow, where did that come from? So, it's basically the pitching. It's the pitching that's going to help you.
Yep.
And
Cole package, for sure. Did you see
honestly
his interview?
Speaking, Cole's interview. His interviewing skills are unbelievable.
Yeah.
By the way,
is he going to be a manager? Is he going to be in the booth someday? Is he going to be captain while he's here?
Oh, I pray he is.
I think it's going to be a while before we have a captain assigned to the team.
Right.
Oh, I agree. I agree. But I'm thinking, he's got the temperament.
He does. He does have the temperament, honestly.
He just needs to win. He needs to win a World Series.
Yes.
With the Yankees, and then he can be in consideration someday for captain.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And I pray he is.
Lead us.
Yes. Let's
get him that ring. We tried for Donnie. Let's get it to happen for Cole.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up this episode. Ladies, thanks again for coming on today. And on behalf of everybody, YankeeChronicles.com, we hope everybody stays safe, stay smart, and go Yankees.
All right.